Hey, the Zay here, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to unpack or export Unreal games and be able to use it in a 3D application like Blender, Maya, 3ds Max. And also, in the end of maybe part 2 of the video, is going to be how to bring it back into UDK and actually use it, whether you want to use it or just play around and see how the professionals actually do their work. It's always good to just kind of look at other people's work and see how they do it and see what works best. And so we're at Gildor's page. Type in his name or gildor.org. You can also Google just umodel, and this is the only person that does it, and it pops up. And basically, this person is a pioneer because they have made a program that unpacks the Unreal files which are ready to be shipped. And then once it's unpacked, he made a little plugin called ActorX, which allows you to open it up and open up any of the files and view it in 3ds Max, and then export them out so you can use them in FBX format. There is versions of this for Blender, but unfortunately Blender's version has issues like no textures, the animation sets don't work, sometimes smoothing is broken and stuck on or stuck off or whatever. So if you're going to use the Blender version, I suggest you do some Googling. I'm sorry I'm not going to show it in this video because it's kind of complicated and it doesn't really work too well. Like I said, use Google it. I'm sure you come up with the right answers, but we're going to use 3ds Max in this version. You can grab a student version if you have a university email address, or if you really wanted to, you can fork over the $3,000 to buy the program itself. But the university version is free and it has a 1-year license. As long as you're in school, it keeps giving you that 1 year, which is great, especially if you're not using it for production, you're just using it to do stuff like this. So, like I said, you want to grab umodel and you want to grab ActorX. And basically, I've done this already, pre-done this in the video. And so, in this, I made a folder called TMT, or temp, under the local disk. It makes the life really easy when you're typing things in, because what happens is some versions of the command line don't like to open up, don't like to actually let you run code unless you're as administrator. And if you're administrator, then you actually can't you can't drag and drop it onto the command line. You have to manually type it. So typing C directory TMP is a lot easier than going C, my documents, desktop. And so, like I said, just for this experiment, you really want to drop it on the thing yourself. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And I already have some files here pulled out. But if you want to get your own files, really any Unreal game works. And here I'm already in my Origins account and I have Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to use 2 because really the naming convention of 2 is pretty direct and it makes a lot more sense. Like if you're looking for character, you find it really fast, and here's Quarian and so forth. One thing to note is that this file called TFC, sorry, what was going on, is a packed file that has all the textures for every single character in it. And the problem with this is that you can't unpack it by itself. You have to connect it to the other things, because basically what this is hexadecimal, and nothing in it is actually like a header. There's no header information. This file here says, hey, point blah blah in this file has my textures. Pull it out, and that's the only way for this file, for this file to even make any sense to this file. So when you're actually exporting images and all that, you have to have that. You're not gonna have textures. Another thing is, if you're using other games like BioShock or whatever, you have to have a file called UFC, and I think that's have to relate to Unreal 2 engine. I'm not quite sure, but Google it based on the program you're going to use. I'm sorry about the quick ramble here. So let's see a character I want to take out. I usually do with big files. It really helps. Or you can just type in Quarian. I like the Quarians. Talia. Yeah, we're gonna take this Corian right here. And you see, I already have this pulled out. Alright, sorry. I already have this finished, but we're gonna do it anyways. And also, I'm gonna show you how to view the files in this. So, alright, so I have the command line open here, and what we're gonna find out is that not all files work when you pull them out. Sometimes you have to leave them in the folder, and then do it to export the long way. So, I actually ran this problem just recently. So if I want to export something, or sorry, if I just want to view something, you type in view, and then you do meshes, because we only want to look at the meshes, and then you basically show the file you want to show. And you see there's an error, and this error happens because it has no support of objects. And I had this problem before, because if I do the same thing, but then I show, like, if I want to look at I want to look at characters, it unpacks, and then I can see anything, basically anything in the folder. By pressing page up or page down, you can look at the files and you can see what's in there, and all the stuff will unpack. And you're like, oh, that's not very interesting. Well, sometimes there's characters in it, sometimes there's not. So sometimes they don't actually go by what the title really means. There's a head, there's a face, there's a body. Anyway, so it's kind of weird that this Corian doesn't unpack, because I already done it before. But so that's when you want to view the files. And if you actually want to, export it, try it again, and let's actually export something differently. This is the characters, whatever. All path equals C dash. And sometimes I find it's just my typing that's actually what breaks it. And I don't know why. Out. That worked. And like I said, this is a mystery. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works great. You know? And sometimes we just export to where it feels like. Oh, see, it sent it to out test C drive. Because I typed it wrong. But basically, if you type it right, it would have dropped it here. And here's our files. Everything in here. Here's all the characters and their meshes. Here's the animation set for those characters. Here's the textures for those characters. And now I'm going to show you quickly how to do it in, how to open them up in 3ds Max. Alright, so now we're in 3ds Max. If you have downloaded this plugin, which is right here, ActorX Importer, and you put it in the scripts folder, it won't be very hard to get to. Basically, because I put it in the scripts folder, here it is. If it's on your, if it's on your desktop, you just go to your desktop, find the file. But basically, you want to run ActorX Importer, and the way I did that was click on Max Script, and then I did Run. It pops open, and you'll see I've done this before because there's certain things saved. But basically, this is our awesome program that lets you do this, and I really suggest you go ahead and fiddle with it. You can't break it. And what we're going to do here is we need to set the path and materials, because if we don't set the path and materials, it won't load materials on the character by default. And you see, I basically loaded a character, it didn't work, but so we would do this. Here's the folder I want to use. And basically, what we're going to do here is go up and PSK. Like I said, I am going to use this folder instead of the out test, because this is a Talia one. I wanted to use this, but I don't know why it didn't load. And then if you go into skeletal mesh 3, it's always going to be 3. Skeletal mesh. You're going to find what is in there is the right file. So for this version, it's Corian. It pops up. Here's my Corian down here. And you see it has textures, and they're a little blurry. If you go in the settings, you can actually change the textures on the character and all that. And it's fully rigged. So before we actually want to put any animations on here, because we're actually going to bring it into UDK later, is that we want to export this the way it is, and you want to go to you want to select your item, and you want to go to export selected, and you want to set it to FBX. And basically you type in the name. I'm doing new tally. Here's my great one, and I want to replace it because I already did it. And you want to follow these things, which is smooth groups, tangle, and triangulate. Now if you have animations, you want to uncheck this because you might mess with it, but basically you want the animations when you set an animation to, otherwise you can turn that off. And all these things, basically if you went to their website, it'll tell you what to do. There you go. So we have that. And now this is where the fun part comes in, because every character has animation, and sometimes a lot of them. So this one's crazy because the Corian has animation where he just stands there unhappy and, you know, wondering what's going on. You can change him really easily. So check this out. We load it. Here's all the poses for that file. Load track. It takes a little second. Pops up, and here you go. She just, and it's a little laggy because I'm recording this, but you know, she's hopping. She's a little uneasy. You know. Now, say you don't like that track, you can always get a different track. Oh, I loaded the same one. Oops. Let's see here. Pistol draw. Base pose. See, I don't know all these tracks. You kind of have to play with them and see. See, that's a broken track. But let's see here. Cover. You know, that's the action for that. What's draw, crouch? You know, and you have to make all these poses because you never know what your character's going to be doing. It's ready to fire while crouched. And so we're going to take one of these. Let's say I like the draw crouch one, and it's loaded. All you have to do is just click on it once again and go to export selected, and you can do let's see here, let's call it new tally draw, and this time we want to leave animations on, and hit OK. And so that's all I have to show you with this video, but the next one I'm going to show you is how to bring these files into UDK and see them in action. Thanks for watching.